This is the news Paramount Skydance does not want you to know about yet. A new Star Trek series featuring Captain Kirk has been formally pitched to Skydance executives by the Strange New Worlds team. Two actors, Thomas Jane as Doctor McCoy and Kai Murakami as Sulu, were quietly signed in December 2025 to complete the original bridge crew for the Season 5 finale. That finale will literally show Kirk's first day in command of the Enterprise. It is the moment every Star Trek fan has waited 60 years to see. And the team has been calling it Star Trek Year 1, and that pitch is sitting on David Ellison's desk right now. So is Paramount Skydance about to greenlight the biggest Star Trek series of the decade, or walk away from the one show every fan actually wants? Because what we just found out about Year 1 changes everything. The details behind this leak are nothing short of seismic for Star Trek. According to multiple sources, Strange New Worlds' fifth and final season is not just a send-off, it's the handoff. The finale is set to deliver what no modern Star Trek series has ever dared: Kirk's first official day in the captain's chair of the Enterprise. This is not a rumor. Akiva Goldsman told fans at San Diego Comic-Con that they will take the show to Kirk's first day of command and clarified that this is not actually the original series. That statement comes from the showrunner himself. The intention is clear. Strange New Worlds is designed to bridge straight into the classic era, with Paul Wesley's Kirk stepping into history. But the casting bombshell is what has ignited the fandom. In December 2025, two names quietly appeared on official casting grids: Thomas Jane as Dr. Leonard McCoy, known as Bones, and Kai Murakami as Hikaru Sulu. Both actors are locked for the final season, completing the original bridge crew for the first time in modern Star Trek. Not since the 1960s has any production assembled Kirk, Spock, McCoy, Sulu, Scotty, and Uhura together on the Enterprise bridge. The timing is no accident. This lineup is set to debut in the Season 5 finale, just as the franchise approaches its 60th anniversary in September 2026. This is not a fan campaign or a speculative pitch. The showrunners have already gone public. Henry Alonso Myers said that nothing would make them happier than being able to continue telling the stories of how Pike's crew transitions to Kirk's crew. The pitch, titled Star Trek Year 1, is sitting on David Ellison's desk. The only question left is whether Paramount Skydance will recognize the magnitude of what is at stake, or let the first true Kirk era in decades slip away. Star Trek Year 1 isn't just a rumor swirling on social media, it is a pitch with receipts. Akiva Goldsman, architect of Strange New Worlds, stood before a packed hall at San Diego Comic-Con and declared, "We will take the show to Kirk's first day of command, which is, by the way, not actually the original series." That's not a tease. It's a line in the sand. Goldsman calls the project a real dream for the creative team. Henry Alonso Myers, his co-showrunner, went further at the Saturn Awards. "We've brought the deck to Paramount Skydance. It's in their hands now. The sets are still standing, and we've got a solid cast outlined for a December 2025 rollout." This isn't a speculative wish list. The ensemble is mapped out with Paul Wesley as Kirk, Ethan Peck as Spock, Celia Rose Gooding as Uhura, Jenna Bush as Nurse Chapel, and Martin Quinn as Scotty. December 2025 brought official casting news: Thomas Jane locked in as Dr. Leonard McCoy, and Kai Murakami stepping in as Sulu. For the first time in the modern era, the full original series bridge crew is assembled on paper, and, if the pitch is approved, on screen. Even the legal trail points to intent. A trademark application number 970123445 was filed for Star Trek Year 1, listing Skydance Media as the applicant. The message is clear. This is not a fan petition or backlot rumor. It is a formal, documented proposal from the Strange New Worlds core team, with the cast, the concept, and the legal groundwork all in place. The only thing missing is a studio greenlight. With the 60th anniversary looming and the franchise's future at stake, can Paramount Skydance afford to let this moment pass? Behind the scenes, the reality facing Star Trek's future is colder than any warp core malfunction. After the Paramount Skydance merger closed in July 2025, every new Trek project was forced into a corporate gauntlet, a $2 billion cost-cutting mandate, with every series fighting for survival. The numbers are brutal. On March 12, 2026, CBS Studios announced the cancellation of Starfleet Academy, citing insufficient viewership. The figure buried in the press release, just 38,700 U.S. households tuned in for the premiere, did not just doom one show. It set a new unforgiving benchmark. Any new Star Trek series must clear a bar that even internal metrics call nearly impossible. In Toronto, early 2026 brought a quiet, methodical dismantling of the so-called Star Trek stage at Pinewood Studios. Photographs from January show crews hauling out the Discovery Bridge, Section 31's headquarters, and the last remnants of Academy's sets. For the first time in a decade, there is no Trek production occupying the lot. The message is unmissable. No new build unless a project is already greenlit, and no greenlight unless the numbers add up. Even the creative architects are not immune. Alex Kurtzman's contract, once the bedrock of modern Trek, is in limbo. As of May 2026, renewal talks with Paramount Skydance remain unresolved. The leadership that once championed bold expansion is now laser-focused on risk, not vision. With a single slot likely, every pitch, no matter how beloved, faces a studio that demands proof, not just passion. Is Star Trek's next era being decided by audience dreams or by a spreadsheet in a boardroom? 3 rival visions now sit on the table, each with a different promise and a different risk for Star Trek's future. First, there is Star Trek United, pitched as a prestige drama with Scott Bakula returning as President Jonathan Archer. It is a political thriller that leans on franchise legacy and the weight of history, but its scope means new sets, new timelines, and a high production bill. Next, Star Trek Legacy, Terry Matalas's campaign to continue Captain 7 of 9's journey on the Enterprise G. Fans rallied hard. The petition for Legacy passed 65,000 signatures, but the studio refused to budge. Without a greenlight, the story is already migrating to comics in 2026, a sign that fan passion alone is not enough to sway the boardroom. But then there is Star Trek Year 1. This is not a wish list, it is a production-ready pitch with the Strange New Worlds team, the full original bridge crew cast, and a narrative that launches directly from the final scene of Strange New Worlds last season. Most important for the studio, Year 1 can reuse the standing Enterprise sets, slashing costs at a time when every dollar counts. In a climate where a single new series might be all that survives, Year 1 stands out as the only proposal that delivers both a creative milestone and a financial edge. So what does Paramount Skydance really want? Prestige, legacy, or a new Kirk era that could define the next decade? The answer may come down to more than just fan dreams. It is a calculation with the future of Star Trek hanging in the balance. Paul Wesley is not just another actor cast as Kirk. He's the linchpin of Paramount Skydance's entire Star Trek gamble. Locked in through Season 5, Wesley has spent 4 seasons building a modern Kirk for a new era, episode by episode, until the role is no longer a handoff, but a hand-built foundation. Every dollar invested in Strange New Worlds, every storyline that positioned Wesley at the center, is now sunk creative cost. With the Kelvin film officially cancelled and Chris Pine's run over, there is no rival Kirk waiting in the wings. The boardroom math is ruthless. Walk away now and you lose not just a lead, but the only Kirk who has been carefully integrated into the streaming era, the only one who could carry the franchise forward without a costly reset. The studio has spent years onboarding subscribers who know Wesley as their captain. If Year 1 stalls, Paramount Skydance risks squandering both the creative momentum and the audience loyalty they have spent half a decade cultivating. Is the next decade of Star Trek really going to hinge on whether they double down on the Kirk they built, or gamble it all on something untested? The countdown has already started. Strange New Worlds returns on July 23, 2026, launching its penultimate season just weeks before Star Trek's 60th anniversary on September 13th. That milestone isn't just a date on the calendar, it's a rallying point. By the time the final episode lands in 2027, the fate of Year 1 will already be decided. Every fan movement, every letter, every spike in social media chatter between now and late 2026 could tip the scales. Paramount Skydance isn't waiting for nostalgia. They are watching the numbers, tracking the noise, and measuring the urgency. The window for greenlighting a new series closes fast. The 60th anniversary is the last best chance to show that a Kirk-led enterprise isn't just a tribute, but the future. If you want to see the full original series bridge crew together again, this is the moment to make it known. Will the next era of Star Trek be decided by the boardroom, or by the people who built the legend? Right now, the future of Star Trek hangs on a single seismic bet. Will corporate strategy or a creative vision decide who commands the Enterprise next? As Paramount Skydance weighs Kirk's pitch, the franchise's 60th anniversary isn't nostalgia, it's a crossroads. What would you choose for Star Trek's next era?